Welcome to the Real Mama Pod.
I'm your host, Devin.
And I'm your host, Kendra.
We are real moms.
Sharing real experiences. The things people don't tell you. Hey, Mama, hey, part 2.
Hey, ow.
Yeah, so we're having a part 2 to a catch-up conversation that me and Devin were having. Strongly advise you to listen to the first part of this conversation because we talked about a lot of really deep and vulnerable things. And a lot of that vulnerability is, in support of some of the things that we're going to talk about now.
Yeah.
So definitely be sure to check out the first episode of this conversation because we definitely need these catch-up conversations.
Yeah.
It's time. The time is here for us to be doing some more catch-up. So we had a conversation with the dads. They had their own Father's Day episode. We try to do that every year. And that conversation was really deep. We always get deep with them. We have fun, but we have very intentional and deep conversations with them.
Yeah.
And I just want to know, how did you feel about that conversation with their husbands?
That conversation was interesting. Definitely different from the first time we brought them on the pod. You definitely see the growth. As you can tell, or if you listened, Jared and I have different opinions about blended families.
Yeah.
He's very gun-ho on keeping the family together. And I get that, but I think that's just from a privileged lens that he has. And I try to explain that to him because marriage isn't for everybody.
Yeah. And
sometimes it's better for kids to grow up in separate homes rather than homes that are together and staying together just for the kids. Ask those kids, they were together.
Yeah.
So that was kind of difficult because, of course, Jared's my husband. I respect him. I respect his opinion. We can have differences in opinion, but it was hard to not be combative.
Yeah.
Because the person you're talking about is me.
Yeah.
So that was kind of hard to hear, but also I know he means well. I know how he is. And I do respect his opinion of wanting to keep the family together. That means my family going to be together because he know what he's supposed to do. And he's going to live by that. He's going to respect that and really just hone in on that. So through thickness and thin, through sickness, through health, he going to be there. So that's confirmation for me. But also it could be hard to hear from other people who's not in that position.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I completely agree with you. Even though Jared and I kind of grew up the same.
Yeah.
He had his opinions about things, and while his whole opinion didn't relate to everyone.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying because that's not always the case.
Yeah.
But I think Jared was really speaking from what works, what he wants for his family, versus how others should carry out their family structure. He's gonna do what it takes to make sure his family stays together. So I think that's where the passion and a lot of the core of what he said was in reference to you and him and his and y'all's family. So maybe that's where things came from.
You know how to keep us balanced.
I just listened. I most of that conversation. I just sat there and listened.
Yeah.
And I said I'll intervene when I need to. But I'm happy. But those are conversations that need to be had.
Yeah, true.
So I'm glad that we were in a space where we could have that conversation.
Yeah, and I do appreciate the fact that he does not make excuses for men.
Yeah.
He does keep them accountable, right? If you had a child and there's nothing wrong with you or anything like that, you should try your best to keep your family together. That's great in an ideal situation. But every situation is not ideal.
Yeah.
And I do think as women, sometimes we allow men to make excuses, and that's why we accept certain things and be like, oh, no. But he's like, no, the accountability comes back to the man, not the woman. It's not our fault. But we make excuses on why things may be the case. So I do like that aspect of what he was saying, but I also need him to broaden
Yes. He's a very, he's a
military.
Man.
So it's either this or that. It's nothing else. It's nothing in between. There's no gray area. You're either this way or that way. And the world does not work like that. God didn't create us that way. Everybody's different. Every circumstance is different. And you have to do what works best for you and your family.
Absolutely.
So,
I agree.
Yeah.
So I thought the episode went really well. Despite some of the conversations, that were necessary.
Yeah.
I think those conversations are needed.
Yeah.
But also that conversation, Jonathan actually thanked me for.
Oh, wow.
Because, you know, I'm not the best at expressing myself, right? Like, I'm an acts of service. That's my love language. I'm going to express myself through service.
Right.
Whereas Jonathan is words of affirmation.
Yeah.
So he needs to be affirmed.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying to work on that. But he felt affirmed in that conversation.
Good. I think you did a great job affirming him. I really do. You even touched his hand. I said, look at her.
Physical
you
touch.
giving 2 love languages at one time. I saw you. You know I'm going to give you your credit when it's due.
Yes, give it to me because I touched his hand. That was genuine.
It was genuine. It was a genuine touch.
It was a genuine touch. Because in a lot of the early parts of our conversations with the guys, like we talked about our mental load and we were real raw about that. Yeah. It's like, y'all need to tighten up. Y'all need to tighten up. And I have seen that in him. And I wanted him to know. And I told him in that conversation, if you want to know what I said, y'all go listen to the episode if you haven't. But I wanted him to know that I see you and I appreciate you. Yeah. And he told me, he said, babe, I really do appreciate you for acknowledging what I've done or what I've been doing. And that made me happy. I'm like saying, so me speaking to his love language and really affirming him for the service that he's given to me. Yeah. I had to make that clear. Yeah. Because we were very clear about some things that we needed to see. And I wanted to be clear in communicating here that he's doing that. And I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's been a lot of growth in them from 2 years when we started. Our kids were a lot smaller too. They're more independent now. So the stresses are not the same. They can really articulate their wants and needs. They don't really need us as much. They can go play for hours without needing us. And sometimes they don't want us involved. Sometimes they do. But they can kind of do their own things. We're teaching them how to do different things, like start their own breakfast, as far as like making waffles, stuff like simple things. And so I think that takes some of the stress off of us. And not feeling so heavy in that mental load. And then our husbands being accountable, because they could have said, F y'all, I'm doing the best I'm doing, that's all you're going to get, and not make any changes. But really being accountable and trying to act on what we said was not good enough for us.
And I think I've also gotten to the point where I've stopped talking. Like if something is bothering me, and I've already said several times that it's bothering me, and it's still continuing, it's happening, it's like I've already said that this is an issue. So I'm just, I'm either gonna look over it and keep it moving, or I need to do better with. Sometimes I can be a little passive aggressive.
Yeah, I go to that too.
So I'm gonna say this just to give y'all an example. So Jonathan has done a lot better with cleaning up after himself, but it's always room for improvement. So what I've been doing is say, are you still using this, or do we need to keep it out?
Right.
Very passive aggressive. But it allows him to see that you need to get this up, but it also gives me, because I used to just either say, get this shit up, or not like that, or just move it without asking him.
But move it with attitude.
Move it with a stone cold attitude. And he'll say, well, dang, I was still using that. Yeah. Okay, you might have been, and I moved it. Yeah. So now it's like, are you still using this? Right. So it's me telling you it needs to get put up if you're not still using it. Yeah. So that's an example. But he sees me sometimes, whether I got an attitude on my face, right, or he really sees that I'm overwhelmed. It's like, dang, I'm gonna step in here and make sure my wife is good. Yeah. So I really appreciate him for just paying attention.
Yeah, they definitely have been paying attention. And I think it's because we told them. A lot of times as women, we internalize it. We think they have to read our minds just to know what's going on, or you should just know. And even though they should just know, because it's like the same thing every day, sometimes they forget. Yes. So I think just being vocal, I'm glad we're both vocal people and have partners who can listen. And I'll give Jared a shout out for this too, because sometimes I could be a little, aggressive. I'm from New York. Like, I don't mean nothing by it. It just comes out like that. And it's just like, people like, so he's not getting offended by the delivery.
Yeah, like that's who you are.
Yeah, but I also don't get offended by his delivery. And so before he would get offended by my delivery, I'm like, I don't do that to you. You say what you say, how you, and Jared. Whatever comes out his mouth, it comes out, whether it hurts your feelings or not. You got to have some tough skin. So I'm like, how is it that I give you the space Just say what you want to say, how you want to say it, and I don't get that same grace.
Yeah.
That's not fair. So now he's more, I'm like, don't pay attention to how, and it's not that I'm being rude or mean or nasty or anything like that, but sometimes I'm fed up.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, hey, like we talked about this several times and it's not changing. So now I'm a little irritated. Okay. So let's fix this. But he has been great. And I know we talked about mental health and all that stuff. He's just been a real, like my rock during this time, even when I'm not the best to him. So I can appreciate that. Yeah. And I don't think if this was like 2 years ago when we recorded that episode, I don't think the outcome would have been the same. So I think they both have grown tremendously. And I think they've been doing better with actively listening to us and not just listening and doing their own thing, but listening and doing. Yeah. And so I think it's a difference in that.
So it's clear to say that we both have growth in our marriages, like in its own right.
Yeah.
For me, like me and Jonathan are now at a place where we're more stable. Now we're working on the mental stability. Yeah. But I've seen growth in us individually, and as a couple. Yeah. Like Jonathan's my guy, like period. Yeah. There's nobody else coming up in here and can. Yeah. You know? But I can say that our marriage has grown, both with, like, we have always had goals, but it's like our goals are more intentionally put together. Yeah. Like we both have the same dreams. Yeah. We have these surface level conversations about these dreams, but now we're more intentional about all the details and making sure we're aligned in those spaces. And that's really helped with the growth of our marriage. Yeah. The intimacy nights that we incorporated, last year, almost 2 years ago, that's really helped us with growth and communicating with each other. Yeah. We had so many areas of growth when it comes to communication. Yeah. But also listening to each other. Me, if I don't want to hear it, I just don't want to hear it.
Tune it out.
Tune it out. And that is something that I personally been working on, and I can see that both in me and Jonathan in our marriage. So we've been really more intentional about listening and understanding how each other's feeling in that moment or what have you. Yeah. So
listening can be kind of like this buzzword or surface level. What does listening look like for you? Like when you're listening to Jonathan, what are you doing? What does that look like?
I have to... I really have a processing issue. Like, I really think I do. Like, I forget things quickly. And if all distractions are not off the table, then I'm not listening because my mind is whatever I'm looking at. Yeah. So I have to physically look at him in his face, read his words, read his lips, so that I can understand what he's saying. Like, serious. It's like, really. That's just a true level of self-awareness. I might have some processing issues, but listening to him for me is all distractions aside, kid away, dog away, phone away, TV on mute. I'm sitting here looking right at you. Yeah. And if I feel like, and I'm also working on, because this was a big issue for Jonathan, me like cutting him off to respond to whatever. He's like, just let me finish. Yeah. I've had to work on it. If I feel like I gotta say something, I just bite that tongue or the inside of that cheek, not too hard. But that's my way to self-regulate when I need to or feel like I need to respond to something right there. Yep. So that's how I listen to him. It's like all distractions aside, I'm looking right at you in your face, read your lips, eye contact, no distractions. And if I feel like I gotta butt in, I'm working on just doing one of those. Yep.
I'll be doing that too, girl, because I'm impulsive, so I'll be ready. And especially if I feel like something is not true. And like, because you know how those Cancer men can be. Even though Jared's a Leo, his birthday is the first day of Leo or the second day of Leo. So I feel like he has a lot of Cancer traits. And I'm like, that's just not true. And he's like, well, this is my perspective. And you can't tell me how I experienced something. And so I have to work on that. But also, everything that you do, I also say when he's done talking, so what I hear you saying is just to make sure I heard everything and that there's, I heard you correctly and slow to respond to, even if I feel like he's attacking me or whatever you want to call it, like slow to respond to that. And I think that's been helpful. Now it's not easy. And sometimes I got to call for a timeout. Like, hey, I feel myself getting upset because, again, I can be just naturally, I talk loud. Naturally, I can have some inflection in my voice, right? And in those moments, you don't want to display that. Like, you want to be calm. And in those moments, I would say, like, I feel myself getting upset. Like, can we take a 10-minute? I can't, and we'll come back. And I called that 10 minutes, so now I have to be like, hey, I'm ready to talk, which is hard. That is hard to do, to be like, okay, let's try again.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm a very prideful person, right? So I'm like,
got
dang.
That Leo ego.
Yeah, I know.
And both of y'all Leos?
Right, both Leos. And moon Cancer or rising, however you process information. So, yeah, we're the same for our sun and moon. So, and moon is how you communicate and process information. So both of those are the same for us.
I don't remember what Jonathan is. He's a Cancer for sure. Yeah. But I think he's a Pisces rising, which is spot on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is hard. It's hard. It's really hard. So growth in our marriage.
Yeah, growth, girl. It's growing, and we're going to continue to grow. And one thing I do like about our relationship, even if we're struggling with our husbands, we hold each other accountable. Like, friend, you know you shouldn't have did that. Even if he did that, like...
It's like, I understand.
So I understand why.
Why you mad.
Right.
I'd probably be mad too.
Right. But
we could have handled that a little differently.
Right, exactly. And in their minds, we gossiping about them. It's just like, you don't even know she took your side.
It's like, it's not even about
you. It's not even about you. It's about me. I'm like, you don't even know how she just got me together.
It's not even about you.
Even though I feel like you're wrong.
Right.
So,
I mean, you got to have those friends.
Yeah, you have to have somebody to balance you and help you see the other side and their potential perspective. So, I don't like those friends like, no, you know, that's more like college when we weren't married, but you should leave him. You should do this. You should do that. Yeah, but you with your same boo cheating on you 5 times a week. So
yeah, those should have friends.
Yeah,
so you should have.
Yeah.
No, I know it should. It's like, you could have. I could see that.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, if he's not like beating on you or doing anything crazy, like it's always room for a different perspective.
Absolutely.
And seeing the good in people.
Know that if I'm your friend, I'm looking at both sides.
Yeah.
Of the table. I'm not just like, yeah, girl, you was right.
Yeah.
So tell me what happened again.
Right. Because I know how you can be.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I got to deal with it too as your friend.
Exactly.
Kendra can be very black and white, and Jonathan isn't. And to explain, me and Jonathan were friends before Kendra, not as close. I feel like me and Jonathan's friendship became closer because of you, but we had a relatively close relationship. So sometimes it gets a little confusing. So it's just like, dang, I'll be forgetting, like, he's your husband and I know he's your husband, but I still kind of forget that because I see him as my friend. Yeah. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, and me and Jared grew up a lot alike.
Exactly.
So it's like I understand a lot of how he processes things because we're from the same hometown. Yeah. Our families, I low-key think we might be distant cousins.
Y'all are distant cousins.
And we grew up in this military or militant style home. So I understand a lot of his perspective. Yeah. Doesn't mean I always agree with everything.
Right.
But I understand the way he processes things in situations.
Yeah.
Because, again, we grew up in similar households. Yeah. So a lot of overlap there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right. I mean, I get it.
It gets a little muddy sometimes, but it's all good.
So, in this conversation with the guys, they shared a lot of things too. And sometimes we just have to practice self-awareness.
Right.
So with some of the things that they shared, you know, how have you assessed yourself with some of their perspective?
Yeah. Right? I think that interview was more eye-opening to me versus the Father's Day one. Only because, and it took Samaya pointing this out, of how we responded to their questions.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that was hard to hear. And so she pointed this out. She said, when y'all interviewed them, they answered every single question just the way y'all asked them.
Yeah, they answered the question and that was it.
Yeah, that was it. From their perspective, when they asked us questions, we somehow tied it back to us and left out part of the question.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it's because the questions were long, if I could be honest. And it's like, that's too much to remember. But two, like, sometimes I don't sit in things, right? I'm very impulsive. I'm like, I just got to get it. And I'm like that just with everything. If I don't get it done, it's not going to get, if I don't get it done in that moment, it's not going to get done. And so if I don't say it right then and there, I'm going to forget my train of thought. I'm going to be all over the place, whatever. And that's just my personality. But that interview allowed me to really realize and confirmed, and this is what I need to work on in therapy, it's just to sit in stuff sometimes. Sometimes you just got to sit there. Everything don't need attention right then and there.
Yeah.
And so I think that was very eye-opening. That was like, yep, that is it. That is your issue. That is your problem, girl. You need to work on that.
But it took a friend of ours to say, like, so just to give y'all some context on this episode so y'all can really go to Patreon and check it out. Instead of us interviewing the guys, they interviewed us. So they came up with their own questions. We had no idea what they were going to ask us. And it was a really good conversation. But in a lot of those questions, Devin and I responded not to all their questions because we didn't want to, but because one, we didn't sit in it long enough to really process what they were asking us. But we did circle a lot of that back to us and how we feel versus giving them the clarity that they needed in that question. Now, some of the questions were directly for us to respond to, you know, but a lot of those questions were to give them some more clarity on how to interact and deal with their wives, right? So I appreciate Samaya for bringing that to our attention, and we felt like we had to address that in this conversation because as women, sometimes we don't know what we're doing until somebody calls us out on it. And there were many times where Jonathan circled back. So about this part of the question.
He was very polite, but knowing Jonathan.
My husband is an asshole. Y'all.
Now, he doesn't present to people who don't know him, but.
He does not.
We knew.
You got to read between the lines. But, and also, that's just his, like, he's trained to do that. But true. I also know him, and yes, so he was being an asshole, and he was really like
using his training.
I want you to circle back to answer this question. So, shout out to our husbands for being guests as always on the Real Mama Pod. But y'all definitely check that episode out.
Check it out.
It's really
they asked some really good questions, and even as like a mom and our perspectives, I feel like we have not answered those questions before the way they worded it and asked us. Like, it took some deep thought. We were stunned, but we were still impulsive. Like, we should have sat in it. It's okay to pause for a second.
Jonathan is actually teaching me that because he will just sit and pause. And I'm like, so.
Right. And I'm like, why are you moving so slow? Let's go.
Are you going to answer me? He going to take
it's going time.
And he's like, let me.
Think about it.
It's okay to pause.
Yeah, Jerry be like, let me think about that for a second. I'm like, what do you need to think about?
Right.
Like you should just know.
So, yes, they are really challenging us.
They are. Yeah, that was good.
Some real self-awareness there.
So, you know, I think one thing we should have discussed a little bit more when talking to them, their role as godfathers, because they some damn good goddaddies. And they are both very active. They have their own separate, outside of Jared being my boy's dad, Jonathan is their goddad. Like, you know, it's like they can have their own relationship without Jared. It's been times where Jared wasn't around and Jonathan was there and vice versa. Jonathan's not around, Eli's not, and they don't miss a beat with them. They teach them their own little lessons. They have their own little bond. And I have two boys and they individually have their own relationship with Jonathan. I kind of feel like they take their role I know they take their role very, very seriously.
They do.
And it's a beautiful thing to see.
It is.
Because sometimes when you label like godparents, it's just like, oh yeah, that's my godparent, but that's like, pretty much it.
Active.
Like you just see them when you see them. They are active. They really like think about them and have conversations with them, take time with them. So let's dig into that a little further.
Yeah, so I think Eli and Jared, they have a beautiful relationship. And I think Jonathan has a great relationship and a beautiful relationship with Drew and Jay too. Jared and Jonathan are two completely different people. But they have their own relationship too that works. But to see them and how they godfather our boys is really it's cool to see. I'm gonna give you an example. This morning, we were upstairs getting ready for today, And Jonathan, he was in the bed because yesterday, Jared had his day of relaxation. Yeah. Granted, he didn't have any responsibilities here, right?
Eli is his responsibility, though.
He is, but still. Yeah. And Eli wasn't even home.
Right,
yet.
That's true.
But Jonathan went to, let Jared rest, and he went to get Eli or whatever. So this morning, Jonathan was just like, I'm upstairs getting dressed. Eli's downstairs. I'm like, okay, well, I guess Eli's downstairs with Jared. And when I walked down there, Jared had Eli with his boxing gloves on. And we have this little, I forgot what punching bag things. So he's down there, like, all right, Eli, you gotta put your hand like this. You make sure you hold this, because if you don't, then you're gonna get hit. So he's really giving him these tactics on how to defend himself, self-defense, of course, really is what it was.
For Jared,
and there's nobody that would do that but Jared. Like, that is. And Eli was really like, so like, and it was so cute to see. And I'm like, this is Jared.
Yeah.
And Eli was like, yeah. So, and so it was a nice thing to see.
Yeah.
It really was.
It was only their little bond too, because Eli wouldn't even show me. I was like, okay, so Eli, show me what you learned. He was just like,
yeah, looking at Devin like,
you're not my godfather.
Right.
We have our own little thing, but that's not for you.
But I've also seen Jonathan like in this, Dr. Ferguson, like, take your breaths, deep breaths, like,
blow out the flowers.
Boys, smell the flowers and blow out the candles or something like that. He teaches boys. So if Drew or Jay had a meltdown, he'll pull them to the side and practice breathing with them. So Jared is going, let's get it. Jonathan gonna breathe with the kids, but they need that balance.
Yeah, they do need that balance. They do.
Because them tactics and Jared need. I need Eli to have them. But I'm sure Drew and Jay, like, of course you do these things too. But
it's different coming from a male.
Exactly.
It's different. And it's funny because now that same tactic that Jonathan taught the boys, Jared used for the boys. Because, we're working on not being so like hooah with my kids. Just really being that soft, gentle side of fatherhood, which we discussed as well, and how important that is. And even that was like a light bulb that went off, because when we both described our husbands and what it means to be a father, we said your authority. And but we also wanted them to be gentle. And so that, when Samaya made that correlation, I was like, dang, that is kind of contradictory.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the authority they do provide in the house, and I think is needed. But I also think our boys need to see the gentle side of manhood.
Yeah.
Because it's, for me, from my perspective, I feel like they always feel like they have this hard exterior.
Yeah.
Like they can't cry, they can't do this. No, you can do those things. Yeah. I think we want to change that narrative. So allowing them to see it firsthand, because I'm sure, and this is just me guessing, Jonathan probably never seen his dad cry.
Probably not.
I'm sure Jared didn't ever see his dad cry.
I know. I haven't really seen. I told you I only saw Jonathan cry when Kobe Bryant died.
Right.
He didn't even cry when I walked down the aisle.
Right. So, just kind of, Jared, he like, I don't know. It was a twinkle, but it wasn't a cry. It wasn't on Instagram. It was like, my husband don't look like this when I walk down the house. Yeah. I'm turning back around. It wasn't one of those. It was just a little choke up, a little shake. As far as we got.
I think they both have their ways of, like, there's some things I'm sure I've seen Jonathan and do that Jared, may have practiced with them. Right. Especially when we're out camping and doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, both of them have their own skill. Yeah. But Jared is in the military. Like, he has a certain, layers of things that none of us will ever understand. So they have their own tactics, and I see them both using some of the skills that they teach our boys. Yeah. But to that point about parenting, like, parenting styles is a thing. Yeah. I know there are 4. I can't remember the 2, or 2 of the others, but authoritarian and authoritative parents. Authoritarian parents are like, this is what it is. Yeah. There's no discussion, blah, 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 blah. But authoritative means that you are very clear in what you mean, but you also have that gentle side. So I think that there's a way that we can tie those two in, but it's really in how you practice. Like, there's a word, there's a definition for it, but it's really just how we practice it.
That was good. So godfathers are needed just as much as
they daddies. They are needed. Yeah. So shout out to
all the good goddaddies out there.
Yes.
And I'm not sure when this one is airing, but Godparent Day is the first Sunday in June. So make sure y'all show up for the godparents and and we'll put something out too, but we need to start acknowledging those days too, because there's some really good godparents out there. And those that are deadbeats, sorry, but The good ones, we're going to shout you out.
Yes. And of course, Devin and Jared are Eli's godparents. Eli has a whole village of godparents
so does my kids.
Are phenomenal. And I love all of them to the core. And they all have their own relationships with Eli. And then, of course, your boys, their godparents have their own relationships. But we really wanted to talk about the importance of godfathers because they are very important.
They're very important. And they kind of set the tone and give you a different perspective of manhood.
Exactly. And your kids need a holistic view of what a person is. It's like, it's not just mommy and daddy. Like, you also have other people with other skills and walks of life that can teach you something.
Yep, so, absolutely.
I love it.
Anyway, so I think with all that talk,
yes,
I think it's time for some mama juice.
Today's drink is going to be a cool twist on the classic French 75. We're going to make a strawberry French 75 just in time for that perfect summer vibe. So, what do you need? You'll need a gin. Today we're using a very cool gin, butterfly pea flower flavored gin, which is very cool because it's going to add a very cool color effect to your gin, okay? You're also going to need some strawberry puree or strawberry syrup. You're also going to need some lemon juice, freshly squeezed lemon juice is preferred, okay? So, Demetrius is going to take you step by step. Grab your glass, let's rock and roll, okay? So first you're going to grab your gin, and we're going to do 1.5 ounces of gin, okay? Freehand pour is fine. Also, if you have a bar kit and you want to use your jigger, something that looks like this, that's fine as well too, okay? So once you pour that gin, next we're going to add our lemon juice, okay? As you can see, this gin has a purple color to it, okay? So most gins are clear and translucent. This gin has a purple, and as you see, you add that lemon juice, it's giving a very cool look to it, okay? Next, we're gonna add our 1/2 ounce of strawberry puree, which we pre-measured out. You can also use strawberry syrup if you'd like to. All right, and once you've completed that, now is the fun part. You get to top it off with the rest as Prosecco. And we're gonna tilt our glass. Perfect. Look at that beautiful color. If you have a stirrer available, you can definitely stir it up just so you can really get those colors and those flavors mixed in beautifully. Perfect. And then the garnish of choice for today's drink is going to be some strawberries. So you can garnish your drink with whatever you like. We have some strawberries and put a nice slit in it so it fit nice on the rim of this beautiful drink. And there you go. A beautiful summertime strawberry French 75. And if you'd like to make this without using alcohol, you can also substitute this Prosecco for sparkling water and still have a very great and refreshing drink.
It's a really good drink. It is not too sweet.
I like it. It's a good balance between us two.
It is a good balance because it is what it is. So shout out to Demetrius and Bruce.
Yes, very tasty. So if this is your first time listening, sorry, I got a juice between my tongue. You're trying to swallow. My bad, y'all. So if this is your first time listening, we also have a segment which is called Mama's Corner, and that is my favorite segment. So this is our opportunity to connect with each other more, or for our listeners to connect with us. And so I think it's time to be reflective.
Okay.
For Mama's Corner, because sometimes we're reflective. I think this is a great time to be reflective. And so after having that conversation with the guys, right, what are some things you're going to do differently?
Ooh.
Because we talked about how they changed.
Yes.
And how, they're doing a good job of us being vocal and really listening and acting on the changes we want them to make. What are some changes you're going to make? If any, you may not. You might be good. You might don't need to change.
No. A kid always got to change. So, if anything, it's more strengthening some areas that I'm working on.
Okay.
And that's me really listening. Like sometimes I have this impulsive behavior. Yeah. And instead of me just really sitting back and taking that pause that I need to listen and comprehend what's being shared with me, I'll just respond. Now, I have gotten a lot better there, but I also have my moments where that goes completely out the window and I'm like, whoa, right, you're wrong, X, Y, and Z. Yeah. and then we're back to square one.
Yeah.
So that is an area that I'm continuing to work on. But also to the pausing.
Yeah.
Like I really, in our marriage, sometimes I have to sit and pause.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to work on that more.
Yeah.
So, those are two areas that I will continue to strengthen.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think one thing I'm definitely going to work on is being on my phone more.
That's a good one.
Because even now, to the point my kids are bringing it up, and it's not that I'm always working from my phone. And so it's not even me scrolling social media. And if I am scrolling social media, it's for trends, it's for a sound, it's for this, it's for that. It's not even for my enjoyment. It's for posting. It takes me forever to make a post. Like, it's supposed to be quick, and it always turns into an hour. Always, every single time. I've never made a reel under an hour. So even if I have the content ready already, it still just takes forever. So really being intentional about that, and maybe setting. I'm very nervous about the D&D. I know people recommend it, but just the way my mind works, when my mom first got this last stroke, I missed the call, you know? So like, I just have some anxiety around that. So I don't think I can do that, but really just setting some hours of not being on my phone.
We can also, there are features on the iPhone we'll talk about that will allow you to still get the calls from your mom, or even people who she's always with in case they need to contact you, even if your phone's on D&D. So I'll show you how to do that.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I'm built for that just yet.
But whenever you feel like you're built, you just let me know.
Just setting some boundaries with the phone, because Jared's been complaining about it forever. But and sometimes I use that as a tool to block out other things that I have going on. So I'm like, I'm going to just scroll for a little bit because I don't feel like dealing with this. And then now I'm scrolling for 2 hours. So that is one thing I'm working on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can relate to that too.
Yeah.
I have gotten better with the phone, but I still got work to do there.
Yeah. So if you have anything you want to write in for Mama's Corner, feel free to email us at mama@therealmamapod.com. I check those emails daily. So write us, because we love giving advice based on our own experiences, not as experts. So yeah. Write us.
Okay. All right. Well, this concludes our episode, friend.
Yeah, this was fun. Can't wait to do it again.
Yes, we definitely have more solos.
Yes.
So until next time, mamas.
Bye.
Bye.